Excuse me. I would like to talk about the soap today. All right, today on Unpacked, we are going to be talking about some dish soap innovation. So, I love just walking up and down the aisles of the grocery store, or any store for that matter, and looking at packaging. It's a curse if you work in this industry. And when you run across something that is maybe ported over from one industry to another, or just something that's super unique or cool, we like to pay attention to that. So when we ran across this Dawn Ultra Easy Squeeze bottle, I think you'll make the connection from ketchup, obviously. This whole upside down cap, it's a valved closure. If you've ever gotten to the end of doing some dishes and you've had that little bit of soap in the bottom there and you've had to like lean this thing up against the counter or in the sink just right and leave it there for a while until it drains down to get the last little bit out, they are solving that. It's the same problem that ketchup has had, right? But this dish soap industry it's got the same issues. Obviously, the viscosity is completely different, right, than ketchup, and this flows so much easier, but still, similar challenge. And I have a feeling they also, I don't know if they played with the viscosity of this product at all. But, so we just thought we'd buy this, take a look at it. They claim no flip, no mess. So they've actually gotten rid of the whole overcap thing that the ketchup bottle would have. And we're gonna put this to the test. So I have here my Prog mug. And on the top of this, you have lift here and peel this, which reveals our little orifice. And there's likely a little, probably a silicone diaphragm in there. I've seen some monomaterial like polyethylene ones, but and by the way, this lid is made out of polypropylene. Bottle is PT. Probably. That's an interesting move from P&G to not have embossed the material. It's probably PET. All right, so we have to remove the seal and squeeze for 2 seconds to activate the no mess cap. Remove the seal, squeeze to dose, store cap down. All right, I think there may be a little bit more in terms of geometry in this than your typical ketchup cap. Let's seems like there's an extra component in there that's helping them with that diaphragm, but I can't tell off the top of my head without like totally cutting the thing apart. So we're gonna leave this here and see if it makes a mess. And in the meantime, while that does that, we're gonna take a look at another Dawn product that we found. And this is it's a cool and unique package. The pump is interesting. We've kind of seen this in another category, but this is a dish spray. So they're actually changing the format, which requires different packaging changes, right? Instead of a dish soap that's typically more gel-ish like, they've got this very liquid spray that which by the way, is an interesting, on this cap here, you line up those little 2 half circles. And then you pump yourself out some soap. So, man, interesting formulation and product format here. But I think the more interesting piece of this is this giant pump. it's crazy big. It's almost as tall as the bottle. And you know, it's just a pretty robust mechanism in there. We've seen this in some other things where there's like long sprays and things like that. This one doesn't have that, so I don't know if it's what's causing it to be so tall and so big, or if it's just that way for the ergonomics in this case. But let's see here. Yeah, there's a pretty big pump chamber. Has a lot of material and a lot of complexity in this pump. Maybe we'll do an episode in the future on pumps, but I'm sorry, I'm fascinated by what's going on here. Yeah, we should rip apart a pump, I think. But the just the interesting needs here and the way that they're solving for different markets. They've, rather than I put it on my soap and I do this is like a whole different way of using dish soap. You just spray it. It's a more of a loose format. Squeeze the trigger, spray directly on dishes, rinse with water, or wipe and rinse. Yeah, so there's not really any change in the way that you use it other than it's a spray versus a goo. But I just applaud P&G and Dawn for really trying some different things out there, for doing something special in this space, which, by the way, there is no mess. There's not even like residue on the bottom of this. Yeah. I thought for sure there was going to be some sitting on here, but not yet. We'll give this one a long-term test and see what happens. But anyways, applaud P&G for all the innovation and the work that they're doing to create different formats and use cases and easier. This is not cheap to do this. But anyways, super cool. If you've seen something like this that we should take a look at on Unpacked, let me know in the comments below, and clean up your act.